Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Hey, great to see you.
Sure.
Thanks for sharing your egg freezing story. Where do you want to start?
Well, how about I tell you a bit about myself?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Michelle Izzard. I'm 36. I live in Sydney, Australia. My day job is I work in commercial strategy for a supermarket. But on the side, in my spare time, I'm running a website that reviews dating sites and apps, and all that interesting content about dating.
That's awesome that you're doing that. I think that's so cool. What's your website called again?
It's datingscout.com.au.
Say it again?
Datingscout.com.au.
Scout. Cool.
Yeah.
And then you have a website, Single in Sydney, too, right?
Yeah, so that was my dating blog where I went for pretty much a year where I was just on every dating site possible, and I was dating every week, and I was very busy. I was also studying at the same time, and really looking to find someone that I would click with. And unfortunately, I didn't over that time, and that's what started me thinking about egg freezing, because I kind of thought, well, I'd like to find a partner to do that with, but I don't want time to run out. So at 35, I decided to actually go and do that.
So that was last year?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so it was July last year that I went off and did that. And it was really just, I'm a bit of a planner, and I was thinking, even if I met someone that particular day and, decided that I was in a relationship with them and it was long term, I'd probably be 2 years, maybe more away from wanting to have a baby with someone. So I thought, my age is advancing, and a lot of my friends that had been in relationships and tried to get pregnant when they were early 30s actually struggled with fertility. So I was thinking, well, I'm probably going to be doing this at the later end of 30s, possibly even early 40s, you never know. So I wanted to make sure that, I had these young eggs in the freezer ready to go.
Yeah. Did anyone tell you about egg freezing, or did you just learn about it yourself, research it?
Yeah, I actually had a sponsored post come up on Facebook when I think I was about 33, and it was about single women that wanted to have a baby by themselves, or same-sex women partners. So I took one of my friends away with me, and we pretended that we were actually same-sex partners. We're not. We're both heterosexual, but we went together. I had her as support, and just learn about the process. I was really intrigued to see if I did decide to go it alone down the track, what was involved, and is it a long waiting list? In Australia, adoption is a decade-long process, it seems. So I was wondering whether getting sperm donation or donor sperm actually the same kind of thing, that it would take a very long time. So it was good to be informed. I did that when I was about 33, and it just generally progressed, and it was all about having the knowledge to make the right decisions.
Wow. So what was your feeling when you went, especially in terms, like kind of this false context of, did you feel like the information and confident, is that the you went with?
Yeah, it was one of the biggest companies in Australia. There's not that many of them because we're a reasonably small country, I guess. But yeah, that information session was really good. But I knew I wasn't ready to do anything at that stage, but I just wanted that information. They were very good with follow-up after, saying, did you get everything that you actually wanted? And at that stage I had. So it was a little while later, when I was probably about a year later, that I went to my GP and said that I was interested in doing this, and I got a referral back to the IVF clinic to start further investigations, and did the AHM test and all the other things to get ready to do egg freezing if I chose to do so.
How did you feel on the hormone?
Well, I was a little bit worried about that, because when I finally decided to do that at 35, I'd only recently started a new job. And so I was a little bit worried that I'd be a hormonal mess and only a couple of months into a new job. I thought that might not look good for me. But the doctor was actually really good in telling me that when you're doing it for egg freezing, and in my situation, I was single, there was no real pressure about egg freezing. But if I was trying to have a baby and I'd obviously, had problems having a baby, that the pressure is a lot more, that you're really thinking about that end result, not just freezing the egg. So she said that normally women doing it just to safeguard their future fertility is a little bit less emotionally invested in it. And I did feel like I just went about my daily life pretty easily. And the clinic was really good, getting in early in the morning. I could do it completely out of hours, so work didn't really need to know, aside from the day that I took off to actually have the egg collection. So I was okay most of the time. There was probably only the day before my actual collection that I felt really unwell at work, and I had wished that I'd taken that day off.
How did your collection go? Like, how many eggs did you get, and how did you feel afterwards?
Yeah, so I went to it with the ultrasound, thinking that I was going to get 8 to 9 on each ovary. That's what was showing on all the scans. So I was thinking I was going to get a good retrieval. And when I woke up, I had 18 written on my hand. So I was like, wow, this is good. And it was funny. The one part I missed in speaking about this with the doctor was I didn't realise the number that would be on my hand when I woke up could potentially be less because they wouldn't necessarily be viable. I'd completely missed that in the explanation. So I was very, very excited about having 18 eggs. But then later that day when they rang to say how many could be actually frozen, I'd only got 12, which is actually a very good result from one cycle.
Yeah,
so I had to be happy with that. But I guess from going from 18 down to 12, I was thinking I'm an overachiever at 18, and then I was just pretty much average at 12.
Yeah, no, it's still excellent. But the same thing happened to me. I had 2, and 17 froze. So, there is some, I like to call it egg math that happens where it kind of like slowly dwindles down. And the same thing's going to happen when someday we make them embryos. So I think a lot of people don't realize that. But it is kind of a sad, like, oh, what happened to them? But if they're not mature, there's no point to save them because it's just false hope. Eventually down the road, the egg math will just get smaller and smaller. So, yeah, your clinic sounds like they did the right thing. And so how do you feel afterwards now that you've completed egg freezing? Has it made your dating life, especially since you're in that market for work, has it made it easier? Is there more of a peace? How do you feel?
I think for me, yes. I've never felt particularly stressed anyway. I was that I'll take my time and make the right decision. And I wasn't really feeling too TikTok about it, but I just wanted to make sure that when it got to the point that I decided I wanted to have a baby or not, that the decision wasn't necessarily taken out of my hands, and that I knew I had that backup in the freezer. And it's not a perfect backup. I only have 12 eggs, and so we know that when the eggs defrost, that you'll lose some, and some just won't implant. And I think at the time my doctor said that it was about 1 in 6 frozen eggs can be a viable pregnancy. So I take that as I have 2 shots in the freezer. But I guess that it kind of just makes me think that I do have something in backup, and I don't have to worry too much about taking any action immediately. And when I went into egg freezing, I was originally thinking that I would go it alone, say at 39. If I hadn't met that perfect person, I wanted a baby so much that I would actually do it by myself. And I think, strangely, going through the process, I started to change my thinking a bit during that. And 39 seems so close now, that especially now I'm 36, and it's feasible that I could have a child, at 42 or something like that. So I guess I'm just completely open to what happens, and we'll see when I meet someone if I go down that path of using those eggs or not, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that there's no pressure anymore, and I'm just going to wait it out. And I'll be upfront and honest with people, because I feel like men that are dating women in their mid-30s or late 30s kind of have this perceived they must be desperate to have a baby idea.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's kind of, why do you think I'm desperate to have a baby with you? I have to test you out as well. And I'm going to take my time and make sure you're the right person. I'm not looking for anyone to be my future baby's father. So, yeah, I think men sometimes don't really understand it. So I do want to be upfront and say, my eggs are in the freezer. There's no pressure. There's no, I want to have a baby in 3 months, so we better get serious really fast. And if I'm going to be in a relationship with someone, I want it to be the right person. So I'm going to take my time and not let that be any pressure on the situation.
Were your friends super supportive in your journey, or did you share it with them?
Yeah, my immediate friends were, and I think I was a little bit lighter on doing it until I had done the egg collection. And at work, I wasn't really telling anyone about what I was doing. And after I did it, I know a lot of women that are in similar age range to me, and I do want to tell them this story and make sure that they know the facts and can make this decision themselves. And I'll be very open with people, and I probably get a little bit too open too quickly by kind of, I'll be speaking to women that are equally mid-30s or late 30s at work, and they express something about egg freezing. I'm like, well, let me tell you my story. And
awesome.
Yeah, I think that it needs to be a little bit more open, and I think that particularly couples that were going through IVF a while ago, that was very secretive, and no one wanted to admit that they needed help with fertility. And now it's just common practice, and it's it doesn't matter if you're older or younger. Lots of people have challenges for many reasons, and they go off and do that. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
So I just commend you for taking charge of your future and being so progressive. I mean, it still is it's getting to be a little bit more talked about and popular or well known, but a lot of the clinics, they don't market egg freezing. And so it's not like we just learn about it in natural ways, So to hear about egg freezing, you have to take charge of it, your own future, and kind of do the research. And so thank you for sharing your story and telling everyone about your journey, because I think it makes other women brave to do the same. And it doesn't have to be a stigma. And this isn't game over, or this doesn't mean that your life won't turn out the way you want it to. And so any last advice that you would tell any future potential egg freezers out there about maybe from your experience?
I just think seek the information and be informed and empowered, so that you actually know what you're taking, and it's better to know. And even if you decide not to do it, it's better to have that information.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Michelle, and we will keep in touch and keep up with what's next in your life.
Great, thank you.
Bye.